AJ come out there with the trainer after he gets the start on Monday. Is he available to pitch? Is he okay?
At the start, came in relief.
Okay, you know what I mean. He started the restart.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out today. Like yesterday was an off day, so see how everyone reacts to throwing the baseball today. It didn't seem too crazy. I think it was a little just more tightness, like muscular. So that's a good sign. But we'll find out once we get out there and play catch today.
Do you plan on making any changes to the 26-man roster for Lexington?
We're gonna make it 27 man instead of 26 because it's always 27. But
Awesome.
what's that?
You're really good at
You came in hot after lunch. I had my coffee and breakfast. I'm ready to go. That's again right after practice today. We're gonna end up making decisions on all that stuff and then posting it. We fly out tomorrow morning, so it has to happen quick. But all in all, having a different setup, a 3-game series as opposed to potentially a 5-game series like regionals. I think you maybe don't need to go as heavy on the arms. You can maybe bring an extra position guy. So we have to make those decisions right after practice. But I don't want to do it too early, especially making sure that everyone's body's in a good spot.
What have you been able to, study on Kentucky, and how would you evaluate the challenge that they bring?
Haven't had as much time as I'd like to really dive into it, top to bottom. I know that every coach is working on their assignments. They play from the games that I have seen. They can do a little bit of everything. They do it pretty well. They can pitch, they defend. They aren't afraid to get on the bases and run. You got a ton of those. They limit stolen bases too. I think they've only allowed 29 stolen bases on the year, but they got a handful of guys with attempts and swipe bags. Playing the small ball game, they do a little bit of everything. They can hit for power. They can play the short game. I know seen their stadium, never been to it, but just looking at everything, looking at the aerial views and what it's going to be like, because you want to visualize yourself out there taking care of it. I just think that they've gotten the attention and they've won as many games as they have because of how solid they are, top to bottom. So this will be a great series. I think the guys are amped up for that one. You want to win it all. You got to play the best teams. And I thought last weekend, getting a couple games against Irvine and how competitive they are, and Tulane, that gives us a good idea of what we need to do to be successful.
What did you like most about the way you pitched last in the regionals?
Outside of really one inning, I thought the guys just filled it up and pitched with big energy. May, Kamatz, and Keljo, just those three and their passion when they're out there on the mound. I was at the barbershop today, and that was a topic as we were all sitting in our chairs. Tim, man, I really love the energy that Keljo's giving out there. He kind of looks scary. I said, that's good. That's what we like out of him. Probably the nicest guy in the world, him and Macias, but they both, when they're competing, they're ornery. So I love the confidence that was really just screaming from them on the mound. How they can flip the switch from being just high quality, kind human beings, great listeners, and then turn into the beast on the mound.
What else did Tim have to say? Do you have any other fresh takes?
A lot of fresh takes.
Was it a mohawk you were getting done at the barber?
It was not a mohawk. My daughter had asked for one, but I said that I was just going to stick with the normal.
Orange and black dyed.
It's starting to creep up in the corners, so I got to keep the top a little longer than normal.
Normal.
What did you like most about Eric's start? Just having had a chance to go back and look at it.
Well, the first inning I wasn't a huge fan of, but again, growing up from that. At one point, right before they had called the game, I was sitting over there talking with the crew, and he goes, "It's pretty wet out, Mitch, and we just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the players here." I go, "Wet?" I go, "It's been like this since December. We're fine. Not a big deal." He goes, "Well, he just skipped one." I said, "Yeah, he's a freshman pitching in a regional. It's a big game. Plus, he's been iced right now. We're sitting around. Let's get it going." But, I've worked with a lot of some of the guys on that crew before, and I think the umpires did a fantastic job all weekend. Quality zones, just the way they managed the game, controlling the environment of very emotional stuff. And I think at some point a lot of that helped a lot of the players stay in the moment too. And Segura getting off the mound, throwing 40 in the first inning, but being able to come out and focus more attention on the glove as opposed to the ambiance and everything else. It almost looked like in the first inning he was distracted or wasn't able to find his moment on the mound. It was a lot of looks into the dugouts and kind of peeking around, and so it's one of those things like don't look over here. You just focus on the job at hand. But I think that was important for him, especially going into this next weekend, because they're going to have 6,000 fans there, right? And it's another really solid baseball environment. You got to be able to pitch in those moments.
When you're on that plane tomorrow, is that a time for you to sit down and look at the laptop and scout? Like, what will you, do you work during that moment? Do you take a breather? How do you?
Well, it'll be about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Suppose I'll probably bring a book.
Yeah.
And there's no Wi-Fi. I checked on that already, so I won't be able to watch too much film.
What are we reading these days?
Well, we're actually transitioning right now to a
Okay.
new book. Yeah, so I got to pick one out. But if it's a long trip like that, why not?
Yeah.
And probably reviewing a lot of our notes. At that point, we're getting a lot of our data back, and so just filtering through some of the information on the plane. I like using plane rides for one-on-one conversations. You know, whoever you're sitting next to, kind of shuffling around and having those development meetings or just checking in on how guys are doing in life. I think those are important. You know, and if there's no Wi-Fi, putting the phone down.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a huge fan of just throwing the headphones in, listening to music, and taking a nap. That's what 9 o'clock till 5 a.m. is for. Like taking a nice solid nap. And during the day, it's about communicating, being a part of it, and enjoying those moments. So, I think plane rides for me are connecting, playing some chess, reading a book. And then maybe doing some brief overview on the notes, but without sitting there with Wi-Fi, it makes it tough for game film.
Are you playing chess? What kind of plane are you on?
Well, when I was in college, Dan Spencer always had a little chess set with
Travel thing?
Yeah,
Like
magnets.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's your chess game?
My son tied me the other day. He's getting better. I won't say that I'm improving. I've always been okay, but
Next thing you know, he's going to be beating you in basketball or something.
I'll stop playing before that happens. His sister's getting close.
Yeah.
She's fast.
Any thoughts when you saw Sunday's start time in Lexington, bringing Pac-12 After Dark to the Bluegrass State?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, that's 6 o'clock our time here. We're used to playing in that. It's 9 o'clock out there. I mean, it's a pretty stinking late game, but for our time zone where we're at, it doesn't. Honestly, I don't really think too much into it. It's more like, okay, what are we going to do in the middle of the day? Is there a spot we can get out, move around? I want the guys to, experience a different area if they haven't been there before. See what kind of different trails they might have or something. Get out, walk around. Don't just sit in the hotel room all day. Also, don't sit at the pool and roast. But the weather looks like it's going to be great, and get a chance for the guys to see a different part of the country. But there's no doubt it's a business trip, so you're going to go out there and make sure that you're at your prime for that time. And as we saw with weather or not, it doesn't matter if it's early or late or wet or dry or hot or cold. Like, we just want to play baseball.
I assume you're practicing Friday. Do you go visit the field tomorrow, or do you avoid it after you get in, or how will you?
I don't think the field is available tomorrow to us once we get in. We are going to find some space and go move around a little bit because we're going to be taking off pretty early in the morning.
Yeah.
But it'll be a lengthy day of travel, and then once we get in, it's just good to get out, move the arm around, and then Friday we have a hour-and-a-half slot on their field.
Travis, even by his normal standards, seemed pretty fired up late on Monday. Seemed kind of demonstrative after that at bat, and he kind of form tackled Elijah out there on that one hit between them. Are they still friends? And does that kind of just speak to his intensity and how much he wants this at this point?
Well, we talked about it. Well, I think there was the outtakes from the presser the other day of Travis. And it's good. It's great to see how much Travis cares for the guys in the clubhouse, but also, giving credit where credit's due to Elijah for continuing to get better and better. And like you said, that was his first regional, and to watch him go out and perform in that kind of big stage. And even like Travis said, they've been working on some things in the cage too. Travis fancies himself he's a really good hitting coach, and he's like just trying to unlock and help guys with their game as well, while working on his. He really wants to win, and he cares about the guys in there, and he wants them to be able to go out and stay confident and perform. So listening to him in the dugout, I mean, we finished the last game, and everyone usually we circle up and meet for a brief moment. I try not to make it too lengthy, but I said, all right, Trav, you got him, man. Like no one wants to hear from me at this point, and listening to Trav talk to the guys after the game and look at each guy in the eye, it's pretty special. He's very dialed in and in tune with each guy in that clubhouse, and they're still close. I mean, they're working up the middle together all year, and I think everyone's really excited to watch. Like, this is what we've always anticipated Elisha being able to do, and it's happening at the right time, which is great.
What did he say? What does Travis say to everybody in that huddle?
He talks really fast, so you gotta be ready for it. And there's a lot of distractions, but just encouraging each guy in there. The pitching is doing such a great job. Defense is flying around and communicating, picking each other up in the dugout. That if one guy doesn't get the job done, we're doing a great job with the next guy handling it. I mean, if you listen to what he's saying, he's hitting all the key points. He's you can tell he's processing the game and our preparation over and over. And he's just, even when a guy gets out, he's like, look at the swing, look at how dialed he is. He's ready. Turley walked one at bat, but prior to that, he hit a line drive foul ball down the line. He's like, I could see it. He's ready. He's getting on base. There's no way they're getting him out right here. And so he's throwing a lot of really positive things into, our mental right now, and it's locking guys in, which is great. And so it's spreading. Just more and more guys are doing the same thing.
With so much focus, obviously, on Bazana, we heard it all this past weekend, stop Bazana, stop Bazana, stop Bazana, but you guys had so much high praise, both Travis and you, for Elijah. With Elijah in the position that he's in the lineup, do you feel like sometimes he's like your guys' secret weapon, just like people maybe overlook him and what he's been able to do this season? He's having some career numbers and some different avenues, and he just feels like everything's clicking for him right now.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I think old Turley right there, I think about him and what a year he's having. There's a lot of guys right now that are really tearing it up, and it's great because when all the attention goes to one who can handle the attention and still perform, every other guy, maybe isn't getting as much focus on them when they're in the box from the pitcher and the defense. And before you know it, it's like, wow, how all these guys get on? And now I got to face Travis with bases loaded or two guys on or what have you. But in regards to Elijah, like, he is continues to go out and get better and produce. Like, again, listening to the stuff coming out of his mouth, and him and Travis taking a mound visit the other day after we made a defensive miscue was huge. Instead of having to remind guys, why isn't someone going and picking up the pitcher right now? They're taking the initiative to go do it. So you're seeing a lot of leadership, and it takes time. When you come to a new school, it takes time, especially when you have a guy like Travis and Turley and McDowell, guys that are raking and just been around for a long time and are the father figure in the clubhouse. And so it takes time to, I guess, settle in and trust yourself. Just allow you to be you instead of trying to be someone else or trying to keep up. There's no keeping up. Just do the best of your ability. And we're seeing a lot of guys doing that now. And I don't know. I think each guy respects one another in the clubhouse. I don't think it's necessarily looking to one other person. Now, when it was a joke, every time Travis seems to drive a baseball over the fence or in the gap, Micah does exactly the same. They like feed off one another, or you have to throw a ball at Micah. You just got to get him mad and he's going to do something great, or get him fired up. And so, I don't know, maybe someone needs to throw something at him when he's on deck and just as he's walking up there. But he's played with such a good chip on his shoulder every opportunity he's got. You got Travis hitting 4 something and Micah hitting like 400, and Turley's got 20 home runs or what have you. It just feels very relentless. And having those guys owning down in the order has been remarkable. Getting the lineup continuing to move, making the pitcher feel like, when do I get to take a breath? You know, you try to identify when you're playing other opponents, where are the areas that we just need to make sure we're filling up the zone, not getting too picky. There's been other opponents this year. It's like, hey, when this guy's up, you know, if they don't have someone protecting him, we can be a little more cautious with runners in scoring position. Whereas I feel like with you know, our whole lineup and bench, if there's runners in scoring position, like, you just can't give in. Those guys are going to take their walks or get on base.
Last question.
What are you doing at third? Have you figured out how you're going to handle
I don't
that?
play it anymore.
Well, you played catcher. Did you
I played
forget?
It's first base.
Not great.
How about the coaching staff? How are they going to handle who plays at third this weekend?
You know, obviously we have two really good options. Jabin's been having a phenomenal year. Very difficult adjusting up the middle typically to a corner position, but he's done a great job with it because you got to play a little lower and shorter, and it's a different throw. But he's done a fantastic job playing that last one. TC is, you know, still trying to work his way back, getting the feel from not being able to throw the baseball for a long time and having that finger broke, but he's continuing to make strides, getting better and better. I think we have two great options. You know, that's going to be a decision we have to make. Obviously, you're excited about either one, you know, and we obviously saw what Caraway has done when he's in the box. I think he's still getting his timing back. Confidence is there. That's never going to go away from that young man. He's special, and I think the beautiful thing about him too is, I told him this the other day. I go, when we're playing at home, why is our record so good? Well, it's home for you. Get the last at bat, and you got the fans, and you got this, that. I go, yeah, but it's also because we got Caraway in our dugout, and the energy, the smile he brings, you know, just puts everyone in a good mood to go out and compete. But also, I told that to Santana. It's like, we have a lot of those guys, but Caraway and Santana, and I think he made social media
The hat thing.
the hat and whatever that was.
All right. Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks.